What's up guys, Peter here from Reviews on Anything, and today we're having a look at a ski and snowboard helmet. More specifically, this is the Spam Cap by ALPINA in the black bronze matte color in size 54-57 centimeters. There you go, whole mouthful, but obviously it's the helmet that counts. Now you don't get much in the box. You obviously get the helmet itself and you get a little piece of paperwork about the helmets, which is really not very interesting, but apparently you have to read this before you can understand how a helmet works. We are not going to do that, we're just going to have a look at the helmet itself. Now this is the matte black version, obviously, with some bronze elements like the clip here on the back and the lining on the inside, which we'll get to in a second. It has removable ear pads, ear cuffs, whatever you want to call them. So if it's, if you wear a hat, for example, underneath this, you can take these off and you'll be fine. But I kind of like them on. I only use this sort of as the helmet itself, so I don't wear anything underneath. And then your ears stay nice and warm without being compressed too much. So that's nice. Then we move to the bottom and the inside. We have a little strap here with a strap cushion for your chin. That is obviously infinitely adjustable to make sure it fits you well. Then obviously down here is the button, that you can put it into place with and loosen it, so you can take it on and off. Then the inside, like I said, nice bronze lining in here too, with some cushioning foam sort of all the way around. Really too bad that they put this giant sort of safety warning patch or whatever it is in there. I really don't like that. They could have, put that here on the inside as well. Now it just, I don't know, it breaks up the whole design. It doesn't look nice. So, maybe you can rip that out. I'm sure you can, but it doesn't look nice at all. So, should have put that elsewhere. Either way, it's nice and comfortable. It sits really good. Then on the back here you have, it's not a neck warmer per se, but it's a pad that sits against the back of your head, that you can actually adjust with this dial. Maybe you can hear it click. There you go. So you can make it tighter or looser according to your own head size. And that makes sure that the helmet sits nice and snug and doesn't move about as you are moving. That is actually the test for helmets in general. This is the 54-57 centimeter size. Like I said, it's really a matter of trying it on. So you have to go to the store, try a bunch of helmets on, try a bunch of different sizes on. And the rule of thumb is that if you can put it on without the strap really fastened, and you can shake your head a little and the helmet doesn't move, then you're good to go. Then it sits how it's supposed to be. Because if you have to sort of wedge your helmet in place and do all kinds of things to make sure it sits, then it's not the right size for you. But there's obviously a bit of adjustment necessary because the size only does so much. And then with this strap and with the buckle here on the back, you can make it fit nice and snug for you. Then we move on to the back. Little sticker here, obviously we'll take that off, but it's to indicate the size. And this, by the way, weighs 512 grams, just so you know. There's a little clip here for your snowboard goggles to go through to make sure that if you fall or if they pop off or whatever, that you won't lose them on the mountain, have to hike all the way back up. So that's a nice touch, and it's nice in line with the color scheme of the rest of the helmet. And then you have a little bit of drawing here and the ALPINA branding. Then last but not least, there's a bit of ventilation here on the back to get the warm air out, and there's a little bit of ventilation here on the front to get the cold air in. So the helmet stays reasonably cool. Obviously, if you're gonna be snowboarding or skiing all day, you're gonna build up quite a bit of heat in here because there's a lot of heat going through your head. But these vents do a decent job of managing that airflow a little bit and to make sure that you don't overheat in there. But in all honesty, since the whole top is obviously one piece without any ventilation in there, I find myself at least between 2 runs or something taking it off a little bit to vent my head and to make sure that I don't overheat in there. Where other helmets might have extra vents up here, a bit like a bike helmet. This doesn't have it, it's just this and here on the back. So that's something to consider. You might want to look into another helmet maybe if you overheat really quickly, or you just have to take it on and off a few times when you sit in the lift, for example. Then there's the distinguishing feature of this helmet, of the Spam Cap. It's the little lip here. That's, you know, personal preference if you like that or not. And it might interfere with your goggles a little bit. So that's again a reason to test this out in the store. Bring your snowboard goggles, bring your ski goggles, and make sure it fits well with the helmet. Now there's no extra flap or whatever here on the front coming out. Some helmets have an extra piece of fleece or whatever it is that you can sort of fold out to make sure that sits between your helmet and your goggles. If they don't sort of connect perfectly, then at least you can put that flap on so there's no cold air coming in that strip onto your forehead. None of that here, so if that is the case with you, you have to either look for another helmet or different goggles, or maybe wear like a baklava or anything like that. But you know, that's something to consider. And that's really all there is to see about the helmet. Now this will set you back around 80 euros, so that is you know, overseeable. It's not that expensive, and I think it looks considerably stylish, although it is something you have to, you know, like. It does come in a bunch of other colors as well, actually, and it also comes in a junior version, so for kids up to a certain age, then you can get them for them as well in the appropriate size. Now, downsides, not really. I suppose the ventilation is something you know, that you have to, I suppose, experience in order to like it or not. I think it's in general it's fine, unless it becomes a really hot day. Then you know, you might have some issues with your head overheating or being uncomfortable, but your runs in general don't last for hours, I think, so you can take your helmet off in the lift a little bit to cool down. The one thing that does bother me a little bit is the marketing around this. They say this is the ultra cool, tough hardshell helmet for intrepid youngsters. Well, I don't really fall in that category. I think I don't necessarily need to look ultra cool on the slopes, I just want something functional. But either way, I like the helmet. I think it looks reasonably stylish, so for me it's nice, especially with this color combination. It's nice and understated until you have a look at it up close. I think then it's quite nice, but then, you know, I'm the only one that looks at it up close. So all in all, it's a good helmet. I like it, very comfortable. The inside for me, you know, the color is nice, but it, you know, it doesn't really matter. But it sits really comfortable on my head, and with the strap here, I can adjust it just so it's comfortable for me. And I like it a lot. For the price, I think you get a pretty good helmet that looks good and is very functional, and it works with my goggles as well. So what more can I ask for? It's certainly not the high-end helmet with ventilation, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and built-in speakers, but you know, I don't want any of that, so this is a nice and simple helmet that gets the job done, keeps your head warm, protects your head from impacts, and that is actually a really good thing. This was Peter from Reviews on Anything with a look at the ALPINA Spam Cap. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Happy snowboarding, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!